the counterpoint of that is having very clear sharp drawings and and then having markups again, and the fact that it can be very easily cut, I think, is also a real benefit to the material and the process, because there can be changes if necessary. Not that one is trying to do that, but there's existing conditions in buildings, especially an existing building. There's a lot of dimensional information that had to be developed and worked through, but also we needed to know when there was flexibility in the products. So I would say a glass installer did the primary fabrication. So they were used to working with glass, but not with panelite. And I think over time they became experts because there was so much of it. But also they were very, very detail-minded and oriented, and have high skill level. But in terms of maintenance and long-term, I think we were able to utilize the specifications well to communicate to the owner how they needed to maintain it. And frankly, it's a very low maintenance material and doesn't change over time. A lot of materials, using them in different locations can have a different amount of sun entering the building, and there's different challenges because of those site circumstances. In this case, panelite was actually quite straightforward from a long-term maintenance perspective, so we didn't have, that was not a challenge for the project. And we also we obviously developed the whole design in Rhino, and also drew it in Revit, and so a lot of time was spent with your team and ours, really working through the details to make them appear very straightforward, and just the different detail options, I think, were very helpful. The way that it sort of comes together, with a tongue and groove joint, or with a perfect corner that has been essentially plastic weld condition. I mean, just there were so many ways that we could use it that were precise and could yield very, very minimal tolerances, and those are important attributes for us of the material. That also speaks to long-term maintenance, right? If you have a sealed joint and
right,
there's no porosity there, without having to have heavy silicone, joints, we were able to achieve this in a very beautiful, precise way. And I think that also helps with long-term maintenance.
That's an excellent point. And that's, I think in a project like this, it helps so much to have that combination of fixed details like the prefabricated miters, and then the ability also to do some of the cutting on site, so that you have this element of absolute precision, but you can also adapt to the site conditions.
And those hierarchy of choices obviously were led by your team, telling us what had to be done in the factory and what could be done in the field. Having clear information about that was obviously essential. And look, we made a bench to sit on, so the structural aspects of it also needed to be really properly understood and executed. So that, and then the challenge always with lots of structure is the light transmittance. So all these things came together in a really strong way. And I guess the surprise for me was just the power of the experience ultimately with these large volumetric elements, just and the individuality of the moments that we were trying to achieve. They were beautiful, and they are beautiful. So